Hello and welcome to another program of Health in Focus. Now, the last program, we took you on a journey of infertility in which a couple, a real live modern day couple, had struggled with trying to conceive. They've been married for 3 years and were still not able to call themselves parents. And we're going to start and continue from there by just doing a little bit of a recap. But I'd like to welcome you back to the program. Jonathan and Andrea Taylor-Cummings.
Delighted to be back. Thank you.
Thank you for having us again.
Thank you so much for being brave and being in a position where you realise that this needs to be shared with people. The journey, the pain, the heartache needs to be shared to let other people know that these things happen in modern day. But also, hopefully, we'll come to a place where we can encourage the viewers and also show them that God does work. So to do a quick recap, you guys have been married for 3 years and you realised that you needed help in the area of having babies. And that's the, was that taken at Kensington Temple, by the way? Was that, oh no.
That was in Jamaica.
That was in Jamaica,
That was at the University Chapel in Jamaica.
Awesome, and just look at you gorgeous young people there, eh? And now you fitted, unfortunately, into the 1 in 7 statistic that plagues couples these days in the UK, where 1 in 7 couples struggle with fertility. And you had this struggle yourself, and we showed all the things that you went through, the doctor's reports, your fibroids, yes. Andrea, for the whole world to see.
Inside out.
Inside out. We know you very well now, Andrea, don't we? And we also realised that you stood on some scriptures and you were declaring by faith, you had people praying with you, and it got to the place where you had given up. The doctors said, there is nothing more they can do for you.
That's right. And, you know, walking out of Hammersmith Hospital, having just had that verdict over our lives, I was literally in two minds. One was saying, devastation, what do we do now? There is no other option for us to physically try. And the other was saying, okay, God, it is totally up to you. And, you know, some people said that's the time that you relax, and then it happened. You don't relax when you've just been told by top doctors in their fields.
I was going to say, that's a point that we didn't make earlier. This was, at the time, the #1 clinic in the country.
Yeah.
So it's not like this was a little clinic on the side where you're trying a thing. This was the best that modern medical science had to offer.
Yeah.
And they said, sorry, guys.
So you don't just relax, but, you know, we continued praying and holding on. Remember, we shared in the last program that we had this prophecy out of nowhere, or, you know, a visiting preacher just called us out and prayed for us and went straight to the heart of the issue with children. So we believed, but then we weren't sure just how it was going to happen. And we just said, okay, God, totally up to you. And there was a prayer meeting that I had gone to. This is in 2001. So actually, we'd been married for almost 8 years by this time. And went to the prayer meeting, usually got tired of bringing up this prayer about children. Sometimes you just get tired of hearing yourself ask for the same thing. And I didn't bring it up at this prayer meeting. And a friend of mine at the prayer meeting said, we need to pray for children. I'm like, okay, whatever. She said, you know what, you're pregnant. And I thought, okay, sure, because I just didn't know what to believe then. And then we had this wedding in Ireland, didn't we? And now that was a classic moment. So great wedding, lots of dancing, had fun. I only had like half a glass of wine because...
This is a friend's wedding, not to confuse things.
Yes, not our wedding. And John will tell you I'm a cheap date. So half a glass of wine and, you know, I usually had enough. But I just felt unbelievably tired. I couldn't understand why. I said, John, I just have to go to bed. It wasn't even midnight yet. And remember, we were walking past as we were going up to our hotel room, because it was in the same, where the reception was. We were staying at that hotel. And there was this heavily pregnant woman. She must have been maybe 7 months pregnant. And I said to her, I don't know how you're doing it because I am just so tired. Anyway, we went to bed. We had planned to wake up early and go touring in Ireland before catching the flight back that evening. Couldn't wake up. We didn't get up until midday and basically just got the flight home. When we got back, a couple of days later, I thought, hang on, I've never been late for my period, and I was late, and Jon and I discussed it, and I said, you know what, I am not doing a test until a week has passed because I've seen so many failed pregnancy tests. I was going to wait a whole week this time. And we agreed that we would do the test that Saturday, which would have been a whole week after my period was due. And that Friday night, I remember distinctly as if it was yesterday, I prayed, I said, God, I cannot bear to see another negative pregnancy test. If I am not pregnant, please let my period come. I would rather see red than see a negative test. That's how raw and real I get with God. And instantly, the verse that sprung into my mind and my heart was Psalm 113, verse 9. He makes the barren woman to keep house and to be a joyful, I could tear up now, to be a joyful mother of children. So went to sleep. Your eyes ping open, 6 o'clock Saturday morning, you know, this is it. Went into the bathroom, did the pregnancy test, but Jon, before I could even see it, knowing the pain it would be and wanting to manage the message.
Well, I grabbed it, and when I saw it and I saw the result, my one response was, it looks like we better get ready to start paying school fees now. That was my response, and of course you knew exactly what that meant. You should have seen the response.
Well, we've actually got a photo of you, Andrea.
Yes, on the phone, right?
On the phone, with this pregnancy stick in your hand, and seeing that line. It's a bit faint, but seeing that line that said to you, you and your husband, school fees time.
Yeah, do you know, I had never seen that line. So for me, that said I was pregnant. Forget waiting 3 months. The whole world knew that day. The first person I called was my mom. Now, she's in Jamaica or in the UK. We're 6 hours ahead. It was 1 o'clock in the morning, but it's like I'm waking her up. And I said, Mom, I passed the test. And there was this hesitation, wanting to believe, but not wanting to say anything that could hurt me. So she just said, RUP? And I said, yes, Mommy, I'm pregnant. And I couldn't even believe myself saying those words.
It was a time of real excitement for us, real excitement. As Andrea said, at that point now, she was on the phone around the world. After she'd spoken to her mom, everybody else was going to get this news. If we could stand on the rooftops and shout, we would have been doing that. It really was, it was a miracle for us. And so we decided to name our first son, name him Samuel, which I'm sure you're aware, Laura, means God has heard. And we joke about it now, but we say if we knew what the Hebrew word was for finally, that would have been his middle name. Because it really was, you know, thank you, Lord. This has taken, at this point, it was the day before, well, he was actually born the day before our ninth wedding anniversary. It was a nice wedding anniversary gift for us. And this was almost exactly 7 years after we started trying.
Yeah, that was the journey. And then, just to show that when God answers, he answers in exceeding abundance. You know, we kind of given the game away already. Before we dared to think, you just start thinking, wouldn't it be nice if Sam had a sibling? But you dare not be ungrateful and even pray that prayer. And we were busy that Christmas. We were going to my sisters in the States to spend Christmas together. We were running the business, had a little baby boy, had the accounts to do before we got done. I didn't even notice I was late, which I never am. And when we were, one sister's in Florida, the other one's in Tennessee. So we were in Florida, about to drive to Tennessee for Christmas. And my youngest sister said, you've asked for sweet, you're eating salt. Are you sure you're not pregnant? And I'm like, don't be ridiculous. I would know if I'm pregnant. And then a couple of days, she said, I think you're pregnant. You need to do a pregnancy test. And I realized I was actually late. So I said, okay, we're going to drive to the other sister. On the way, we'll pick a test up and I'll do it in the morning. Well, I know my family, and once there's whisperings about what's possible, I said, you know what, let me take the pressure off. When we arrived at my sister, I said, let me just do it tonight because I'm late enough. If I'm pregnant, it will show. I'll do it quietly so there's no drama. And again, before I could even finish, somehow it was a Jack and Jill bathroom with 2 doors. My sister's at one door saying, what are you doing in there so long? And John comes whizzing in the other door, which unwisely was unlocked, grabs the stick again. So second time around, he still gets to see the result the first time.
And my response again, more school fees. Here we go.
And this time, because now we're in the States, it's midnight in the States, it's 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning in the UK, so we get to wake the UK up and say, guess what? Isaac's on the way, and we named him Isaac because we said, like Sarah did, those who know my story will laugh with me, and that belly laugh returned, where you can just rejoice in the blessing of God after all that emotional, traumatic roller coaster ride with, you know, not having children and my dad dying. That joy, that deep joy was back again. God answers prayers.
And we've got some photos.
Yeah.
We got some photos. So we showed you with the positive pregnancy stick, and then we've got you with a very young family. And we've got, yeah, there you go. And so we got Samuel on the left and Isaac on the baby Isaac on the right. And the next photo is of you when you're slightly older. There you guys, slightly older. And one where it's even more modern and more current. And this is with you guys at the beach. And
Yep,
there
that's
you
December.
are. Andrea, it looks like you're probably going to be the shortest in that family, aren't you?
I officially am.
You officially are already?
I officially am.
Wow.
And Isaac's only 13, so who knows?
My. When was the staking? This is
That was in Florida in December, where 2018, yeah, just this Christmas gone,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
we celebrated our 25th anniversary
Wow.
with my sisters, who also celebrated their 25th anniversaries that same year. Yeah.
Because you all got married around the same
Within 9
time.
months, 9 months of each other.
That's amazing.
That was a special celebration.
Absolutely amazing. And of course, I know you guys way back from our days at Riverside Community Church,
Absolutely.
which is a satellite of Kensington Temple. And you know, I remember the struggles that you guys went through, and I remember the day I got the postcard with Samuel on it, and that was just brought so much joy to my heart. So here you are, and you viewers, hope you have been encouraged by the fact that God does answer prayer. He speaks through his people. He spoke a word through them, through a prophet, this guy who gave a word to you, and God always fulfills his promises. So take us from there. So here you are. You've been married all these years. Now you have 2 children, exceedingly abundantly above all that you could have imagined.
Yes.
Where are you today?
It's been a journey not without challenge. Not without challenge. It's been a truly amazing journey. I mean, a number of things have really kept us on the same path. One is absolutely our faith, no question about that. Even when in the early days we were faith shaking a little bit, and we had this reinforcement of the prophecy, which we didn't ask for. We kept saying to God, we didn't ask for this prophecy that you will have a son, but he came along and he gave us, and that really helped us for those 5.5 years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Before children came along. But the other thing that really helped us was some information that we happened to have come across. I say happened to. We know God had a plan, but the information that we came across, which really helped us to work together as a team. And it was some marriage material actually out of the States. And for us, I think probably the single biggest, because at this point in time we've been running a business together for a number of years, and the single biggest light bulb moment for us was to realize that actually what was irritating us and frustrating us in the business, and when you run a business together, any couple will tell you, when you run a business together, a lot of people we talk to say, how do you do it? There's some challenges that come with that. Maybe that's a conversation for another time. But for us, really what we realized was our single biggest challenge was really our strengths, but just unrecognized, unappreciated, and completely out of balance. Andrea had a way of doing things which was completely different to my way of doing things. And so when you're together 24/7, and you have challenges in the office, those challenges follow you home. So many a night was spent in tension, trying to deal with, who is this person? and at this point in time was trying to have children as well. So you can imagine, it just wasn't a smooth journey at all.
Yeah, lots of frustration there. But we came across material, as Jon said, that made us realize that it was our strengths that we weren't appreciating. And once we got that together, we learned how to work really well in dividing roles and responsibilities in a way that played to our strengths and covered for our weaknesses. And we really learned to be a team. And it dawned on us that if this was a challenge for us, with all that we thought we had tick the boxes on before we started the business. You know, we'd done business degrees together at Oxford. We'd worked in the professional services. You know, how hard can it be to run a business? With all that training, we figured if we had these challenges, who else could we help? So that ignited a passion to just start sharing relationship education skills to really help people build a great understanding of some fundamentals to work together effectively as a team and build a strong unit. And that's what we pulled on a lot when we went through all the challenges with children and still running the business and so on. But that ignited the passion. We were running workshops and seminars, evenings and weekends over the last 20 odd years. But then 3 years ago, we got to this critical point in life, kind of hitting 50.
Yeah, hitting 50 I think was significant, really significant for us. And actually for me, I read a book called How Will You Measure Your Life, which for me again was, big eye-opener. And it just made me stop and think, when I get to the pearly gates and God says, you know, what have you done with those talents I gave you? I want to be able to give him a good answer. We joke about it, we say, we don't want to get a well, we want to get a well done. So what do we need to do for that? And we both felt there was something more that we could do with this marriage ministry. Again, even going back to the prophecy that we had, there's something in this thing, we need to do something here. And sharing it with couples around us is interesting and good. And of course, even if it's just one couple that benefits from this material, great. But surely we can do more than that. And especially given technology, and you can scale this thing now. We did one webinar.
Yes.
And we laugh about it now. But we said, look, we had people on this webinar on 5 continents. Now, there was one couple in Brazil. That was South America as far as we were concerned. But it meant that, you know, it showed us that you could, with technology, you could scale it and get the word out there. So what we thought we would do is develop a platform, and we called it Soulmates Academy.
Soulmates Academy.
We thought that let's have a platform where we can actually deliver these skills, share these skills with people online in a way that is accessible. Because we all relationships face a similar set of hurdles. We're saying there's nothing new under the sun out there. If you can share these, equip people with these skills to get over the hurdles, then that can make an absolute difference.
Wonderful. So that was a third baby, really, wasn't it? The Soul
Absolutely.
Academy is your
Absolutely.
third baby. And we're going to share a clip of Soul Academy and what it's all about. This is a one-day live workshop promo that you had, and also some feedback that people gave after going to your workshop.
Wonderful.
So the first clip is about telling you a little bit more about their wonderful ministry, their third baby, called Soulmates Academy.
So what gives you energy? Where do you get your vitality and zest for life from? Harvard Business Review recently reported on a study, didn't they? Confirming that people have 4 core energy needs: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And each of these needs to be replenished regularly so we can be our absolute best self. Yet beyond physical rest, many of us hardly explore what else makes us feel energized.
Yeah. Now, intuitively, we all get that relationships are vital sources of emotional energy. And we know that because when all is well with our important relationships, we feel that we can conquer the world. And that's because our emotional health impacts our mental health and our ability to handle life. Now, we also know the devastating impact of relationship breakdown on people, both at home and in the workplace. And it's clear that our significant relationships influence our very health and vitality. So why do we leave the quality of our relationships to chance?
There's the question. Over the last 20 plus years of working in this space, we've seen how proactively building relationship skills has helped people create really strong relationships, maintain positive emotional health, and turn up as their vital, vibrant best selves at work and at home. And that's why at Soulmates Academy, we've developed a one-day live workshop to help people build these life skills and learn to manage their emotional bank accounts.
Now, an emotional bank account is that mental record we all keep, where we subconsciously make a note of our interactions with each of the people around us. Now, where those interactions are mostly positive, happy days. We register credits in the emotional bank account with them, and we enjoy more flex, more patience, and fun in the relationship. Where the interactions are mostly negative, however, we register withdrawals. And when the balance runs dry or into overdraft, everything can be a problem.
Yeah. So in the workshop, we help you understand why maybe some of your relationships refuel you while others zap your energy, why some feel mutually satisfying while others are at best frustrating. And using 4 simple yet fundamental concepts, we help you understand what you need to be doing intentionally to minimize those unintentional withdrawals and to give some practical ways to make meaningful deposits in your relationships.
So join us for the day, and we guarantee that you will leave feeling inspired, empowered, and armed with a clear set of habits to develop so that you can maintain positive emotional health, vibrant energy, and really great relationships on purpose. So click on the link below to book your seat at the next workshop now. Places are limited to ensure that everyone leaves feeling personally equipped. So if you're keen to go, you're going to need to be quick. So use the link below to book your seat now.
Look forward to seeing you there.
There's so many things that impacted me, but what really impacted me the most is how important it is to understand the differences in ourselves as humans.
This notion that actually you need to invest emotionally and some things are weighing more than others do in terms of the emotional bank account. I thought that was a very powerful concept and it landed very well for me.
Probably the session about appreciation and recognition in the workplace, and also in my personal life about making sure that I'm communicating with the people that I work with and the people that I spend time with, that I appreciate them in a way that they understand.
When they start saying, oh yes, well you frustrate me in some way or I share something that's difficult for me, then I can think, hang on, if I look back at my notes, there's some material there that will help me to take that forward and get us to a healthier place.
What impacted me the most was realizing those different personalities and how different people are as a person, and this comes naturally, and understanding those differences between how those different personalities are. That had a huge impact on me.
What I will do differently as a result of coming on the course is really trying to recognize the type of people or person that I'm looking to build a relationship with.
For me, appreciation it's the small things. I don't expect big displays, but you know, the heartfelt thank you means more to me than the chocolates or flowers or whatever it might be. But I've had to reflect on what you were saying at the workshop to recognize that for some people it might actually be about receiving the box of chocolates, or you know, the slightly more extravagant display, or being acknowledged in public as, you know, having done something well. So I think I just need to think that through more and act on it.
What I'm going to do differently is really apply some of the principles that you brought up. It has I probably knew about them, but to actually apply them now.
The one thing I plan to do differently after coming on this session is to be more patient.
Oh, I would tell them it's a must-do.
Everybody will find that they're difficult topics, handled really sensitively, and they'll be able to take it home and apply.
It was amazing. I think it's a very complicated subject that was delivered in a way that felt very accessible.
It takes you in a professional capacity. For me, that was the reason I attended. It takes you out of your comfort zone in terms of your relationships with the people that you work with, but also the people in your personal lives, to push the boundaries of what you're comfortable with and make you reassess how you deal with those people.
I think many people will benefit from it, and applying those simple principles in every relationship, in every interaction they have, whether it is in a romantic setting or with colleagues, friends, etc. Just taking a little bit of those skills that they learn throughout your workshop and applying them, they will massively benefit from it. And for that reason, I would highly recommend it.
You'll learn a lot, you'll laugh a lot, and you will take away very practical tips and techniques that will make a huge difference to your work life and your personal life. What more could you ask for?
Welcome back to Health in Focus. So you've been watching Soulmates Academy, some excerpts from people who've actually attended the course, and we've got some website information there on the screen for you. Now, you've gone from the prophecy about the fact that you were going to have a son, you had 2 sons, but also that they were going to be involved in your ministry. Now, you talked a little bit about the 4 habits. Can you explain that a little bit more for me, Andrea?
Of course. Now, the 4 habits, over the 20 years of working in this space, we've observed that all successful relationships exhibit 4 fundamental habits, and every failing relationship that we've seen lacks 1 or more of these habits. And just in summary, we go through the detail in the workshops or the online courses, but the 4 habits are: habit 1 is be curious, not critical, and that's about caring enough to understand differences. Habit 2, be careful, not crushing, which is how we turn up in conflict situations, learning the skills there. Habit 3 is ask, don't assume. So instead of stereotyping and kind of putting people in boxes, learn to ask and discuss, especially with sensitive topics that people might want to put onto the carpet. And the 4th one is connect before you correct. We like to give constructive feedback, but we're not as deliberate about communicating real value and appreciation. So in the courses, we show you how to develop the skills to build those 4 habits and live them so that you can have a better chance of having great relationships.
Amazing. And after 25 years and more, you're living proof that these things work. And what are the visions, would you say, that you have for this ministry, Jonathan?
Big visions, big, hairy, audacious goals, I think is what they call it.
Amen.
BHAG. We would love to see relationship breakdown rates reduced. Relationship breakdown rates are off the charts. I mean, divorce rates are up around 40% on average in much of the developed world, and cohabiting couples 60 to 70%. Half of all couples are not going the distance, and we're saying it doesn't need to be that way. By equipping people proactively with the skills they need to get over these inevitable hurdles, they can make a difference. And we're just trying to get the message out now. We're trying to work with corporates, we're working with churches, we're working with the government. We were really privileged to have done a TEDx talk right in the city, in the Square Mile recently, just sounding the alarm and saying relationship education is a must. Waiting until things break down and then going for counseling is often too little, too late. Equip yourselves up front, get the skills that you need to get over the hurdles, and it can make a huge, huge difference in your relationship. It has done for us. It has done in countless couples that we've seen over the years. We're just encouraging people to do more and more of it.
Thank you so much. You've been watching Health in Focus, and I hope you've been encouraged by this testimony of a couple who went through infertility, who stood on the Word of God. God came through for them, and now they're sharing their testimony and also in ministry together. Thank you for joining us. God bless you, and we'll see you again with more exciting health news and Health in Focus. Bye for now.